Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025, Maneko 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Well, today we're going to look at the great taking, and in this case, it's Rachel's great taking. So who's Rachel? Well, she's the Chancellor of the Exchequer here in the UK, which is the equivalent to a finance minister or a secretary of the Treasury. And I've spoken about this before, her great taking. And I've also spoken and have been speaking about UK economic collapse since 2021. And we're there, unfortunately. And like in the US, it doesn't matter what party is in power. The politicians, they keep interfering with the economy. They think that they know better, but all they're doing is digging an even deeper hole. And as most of you know, one of the main objectives of this channel is to basically dispel the notion that Keynesian economics is a good thing. We here on this channel focus on free markets, sound money, small government, the rule of law, or basically aspects of the Austrian School of Economics, which was really led by von Mises, by Hayek, and others like Rothbard. We're trying to give you the antitheses of what we have today, which is Keynesian economics. And unfortunately, it's driving our economies to the ground because government has become so big. And as I said, they keep digging deeper because they keep doing what has driven our economy to where it is. They keep doing it over and over again. It's like the definition of insanity. If you keep doing the same thing that fails and you keep doing it, it's insanity. So before I go further, just like to give a shout out to my precious metals dealer affiliates. In the US, we're affiliated with Miles Franklin. There's a landing page below in the description if you want to get in touch with them. Here in the UK, we're affiliated with Gold Investments. All the details are below in the description. And a quick shout out as well to Dirty Man Safe. You get 10% off if you use my my link below in the description. It's a great way to keep your valuables safe. So especially in the day and age of the great taking. So as I said, they're desperate for money, for revenue. So they keep going after, of course, the productive, the private sector, because that's the only sector of the economy really that produces anything. It's really simple. Unfortunately, the Keynesians think that government spending can kickstart the economy and make things better, but it doesn't. It just allocates resources in a way that is unproductive. And why is that? Well, because politicians don't know anything about how to allocate resources. They're not fund managers, and they don't know better than the free market. But be as it may, yeah, now they're going after people's tax-free savings, which is, again, another Keynesian instrument, but be as it may, right now people have the possibility of putting £20,000 aside every year and invest it in a deposit to get tax-free interest. But what Rachel Reeves is trying to do is, and there's talk that she's going to be making a speech soon on July 15th at Mansion House, which is in the city of London. And she's been pushed by the stockbrokers that want people to invest more in the stock market because the London Stock Exchange is not doing well. But it's not because people don't want to invest. It's because the economy is not doing well because it's been taken over by the government, basically. There's so much interference. So they want to interfere even more. And she's listening to the lobby group of fund managers or stockbrokers, and it looks like she's going to lower this 20,000 pound like allowance to 4,000. And why is she doing that? Well, because she wants you to invest the other 16,000 in the stock market. Yes, this ISA, it's called an ISA. There's a cash ISA and there's a stock or equity ISA, which is also 20,000. But there's almost $500 billion in cash ISAs. So she's coming after your savings. And there's talk as well that she's changing the rules for the defined benefit pension schemes, which almost collapsed, of course, back in 2022 when we had the gilt market and the pound collapse. It was the Liz Truss mini budget. So now they want to push these defined benefit pension schemes to invest in private equity. So they're really after your wealth, and it's not going to end well. And why do I say that? Well, can you tell me of anything that's ended well that has the government imprimatur, is that the word? You might want to correct it, or the government's stamp on it. I don't think there's anything. The only thing that governments do well are bad things like waging war, inflating the currency, yes, all those kinds of things, right? But being a small government and promoting like free market, that's not something they do. And unfortunately, yes, I think this is going to continue. And it's not only here in the UK, it's happening in the European Union, in the Eurozone, where they use the euro. In the US, it's a little different, but they're also coming after your wealth via all the debt they're creating with this new big, beautiful bill. So what do you do in this situation? Well, I have to admit, it's very difficult. Unless you are a multi-millionaire or a billionaire, you can just hop on a plane or a private jet to your place somewhere and move your residency and avoid all this government interference. But for those of us who are not in such a position, yes, it's difficult. I would say one major thing is to try to have one foot out of the system. And what does that mean? Well, it means one foot out of the financial system, like the banking and brokerage system, the pension system, because these people are all working together. You can see that it's the stockbrokers and the investment managers that are pushing the government to cut the size of how much cash you can put in an ISA so that you can get cash tax-free interest. Even then, the interest is very small. Inflation is a lot higher. They're still like ripping you off, but be as it may. So getting a foot outside the system, how do you do that? Well, it's a bit of common sense. One of the ways, obvious ways, of course, is through having gold and silver outside the system, real physical gold stored in a safe place. Gold investments, for example, they have their own private vaults, and they also insure your gold and silver. And you can take it there and see where your actual gold and silver is. It's not unallocated or unallocated. It's just your gold and silver. So you can do that. And here in the UK, of course, for now, you can still avoid taxes. And by that, I mean capital gains taxes on coins that are minted in the UK by the Royal Mint. They're coins of the realm, like sovereigns, Britannias. So if you bought gold 5 years ago and you've made a big profit and you want to sell it, there will be no capital gains tax as long as you've done it with sovereigns or the 1 ounce Britannias. The other way as well, of course, is other hard assets or luxury goods like fine wine, which they hold their value, or watches as well, jewelry, land. There are some kinds of investments in land in the UK that are tax-free, but or collectors' cars, classic cars. I mean, I'm not a tax advisor, but there are ways to protect yourself. Could they come after your gold as well? Well, in the 70s, they didn't really come after your gold, but they limited the amount of gold that you could buy. And of course, gold in the 70s went from like 17 pounds an ounce to 300 pounds by 1980. So all that does is that it makes the gold price even more valuable. But yeah, they might put a limit on how much gold you can buy. But that is a way to circumvent Rachel's great taking, in my opinion. Of course, financial advisors are not going to tell you this about gold, because gold is not a financial asset. Physical gold, at least. Yes, ETFs are. So they don't want you buying gold, because they won't get they won't do any business through you. So the mainstream media as well, financial and normal mainstream media, they've been scaring people from getting into gold for decades. They say it's a commodity, that it's risky, and so on and so forth. But if you look back to the beginning of the century, gold is up about 10% per annum in terms of the British pound. In dollars, is about 9 or 9.5. So yes, it doesn't pay interest, but it grows in terms of fiat currency. As I said, here in the UK, there's no capital gains tax. On silver, of course, there is VAT that you need to pay when you buy it. But let me tell you, the first time I bought silver was in 2003, and the price was below £4. And right now, let me have a look where it is. It's approaching 30. I think it's at 26.33. So I was a bit miffed having to pay VAT on silver back then. But now with silver approaching like £30, I'm not, you know, that VAT seems insignificant. And I think right now as well, when you buy silver, and I've been buying silver, I always try to buy a little bit on a dollar cost averaging basis. Yes, the VAT we're paying now eventually is going to be irrelevant as well, because I think the pound, the dollar, and all fiat currencies are going to drop massively versus the precious metals, and the 20% VAT will be something, yeah, it will be a little bit of a cost, but I don't think it should stop you from doing it. So yes, we're going to keep an eye on what Rachel from accounts is doing. And why is that, Rachel from accounts? Well, there's a story that she kind of embellished her CV, that she was an economist for the Bank of England or another bank. But her old colleagues, I think, said that she was actually in the accounting department. So there's this joke that she's from accounts. So what's going to end up happening here in the UK, unfortunately, you know, they're going to keep trying. They're going to keep digging deeper. They're going to keep going down the interventionist path. And one day, the country, and by the country I mean the government, the treasury, will be on its knees. And things will get better, but they won't start getting better until they get worse, because people in power never want to give up power, and they'll do anything to keep this system going. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. But all you need to do, in my opinion, is to look after yourself, look after your family, and know that there's not much you can do. and there is no reason to get discouraged or despondent. And the other thing is be in good standing with your community, with your neighbors, the local shops, because we all need to cooperate with each other when things get bad. And what do I mean by that? Well, when shops won't accept paper money anymore, or the pound, when things get really bad, when you've got shortages, you got to help each other out. And that's what happens in the environment that we're in this major inflation that could evolve into a currency collapse. So there you go. Rachel's great taking. It's not going to get things going again, unfortunately, and they're going to keep trying newer and newer things. But with that, I'm going to wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.